I'm ready. I'm very ready. It's been a fantastic week to be a comic fan, especially if you're a DC comic fan. And there's a big finale of a little show called The Penguin happening tonight. So we're going to be talking a lot of good stuff, getting hyped up, and then heading from here to watch that. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. What's going on, Paul?
What's happening? How are you?
Doing good. Joined as always by the co-hostess with the mostest, Sector 2815, where you can go to his channel that's linked in the description of all my videos and find the hottest game show on YouTube called Guess That Key every other Wednesday. This is an off week, so it'll be back next week. But go ahead and subscribe to the channel, follow it, because you won't want to miss it. It's a ton of fun. Epic giveaways each show. And then on Monday mornings, we do the DC Comics Deep Dive. The show is recorded. We're back on track. We're back on track. 10 a.m. Monday morning.
No hurricane can keep us down for long.
Not for long. It definitely kept us down. Just not for long. Yeah. Still fighting to get back on track, but it's fun as things are slowly getting back to normal and getting back to the status quo. Let's say hey to some of the people in the chat while people roll in. We got Las Crucias. What's going on, homie? The adventurous one, Joseph Michaels. Hope you're doing good this evening. Hello. Got pop up in the chat. Me and Pops went to the first annual Augusta Comic Expo. If you're familiar with my channel, you've probably heard me mention the Augusta Con a couple of times. It's this real life POS that has turned comic conventions and our fandom into a cash cow in a way to abuse and take advantage of this hobby to line his pockets with silver and gold. He's a real shady sack of shit, but I believe in free enterprise, and he's welcome to set up conventions here in this town and counter program Free Comic Book Day, and I'm free to speak freely against that asshole and say that I'm proud to say that the actual real life comic vendors in the Southeast came together like butt cheeks and decided to put on their own version around like the same size, in a big hotel kind of ballroom kind of thing. All vendors, all good people. It felt like people were celebrating the hobby. Hell, the guy who puts on Heroes Con was there, set up at it, hung out and talked with him for a while, the usual suspects, but it was a blast. We went there today and did that. So if you ever see the Augusta Con or Charlotte Con or any city with the word con behind it, look up this guy. He just circles the Southeast, putting up pop-up one day, cash grab, trashy cons. I don't support him. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm not supporting that clown. But that's just how I feel.
Don't hold back.
Next time I won't.
Okay.
Next time I won't. I don't usually cuss on this stream. I try not to. He earned those titles in my book. Never even talked to the guy, but just sleazeball. It's like the stereotypical 1980s used car salesman with a slicked over and like just selling lemons, that kind of guy. What's going on, Matt? We got a hero for hire comments here. Yo, Matt's doing everything these days from YouTube stream, whatnot shows, $2 claim sales on. Be sure to check out what Matt's got going on. Brian LCS, what is going on? He was at the show today. He drove down and went to the show. It was a good time, guys. It was a really good time. I posted a couple of times about it on the IG. I'm sure they'll do it again, but definitely if y'all can make it, it's worth going. Brother John's Comics. What is up? What is up? Cliff on Comics. What's up, homie? What's up, homie?
There's a name you don't see often on the internet.
Yeah, it's hard to find Cliff.
Yeah.
He's not online enough. JSS Brooklyn, what is going on? Good Sunday to you too. Pizza Rat Collects, what is up, homie? Let's go. Digger Jim, how's it going? That's a name that's been getting tossed around the internets lately. I don't know how Jim got implicated in stuff that he had nothing to do with, but Jim's name has popped up in a couple of different places. But glad to see you're getting out there, Jim. Hopefully people enjoy metal detecting videos. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Let's
no
go.
publicity is bad publicity.
Exactly. Beck Neptune, what's going on? Hope you're doing good tonight. Let's see. We got Peach Rat, Jim, Matt, JSS Brooklyn, Beck. Sledge, what's going on, homie? The expo was fantastic. I wish you could have made it. No worries. I'm sure Chris and Charlie will be putting it on again. Chris, who puts on the little vault show a few times a year, he used to own a shop. I think it was called Heroes and Dragons. I forget the name of it exactly. But he has all of his inventory like stored at a specific place, and he like opens it up to the public when there's not a show going on kind of thing, when he doesn't have somewhere to go set up. And local vendors will come and set up in the building as well, and they'll turn it into a little mini con. But this was great. It was really great. Felt good being there. I scored too. Scored big. I already showed Paul. Like didn't leave the house today expecting to pick up a grail, but it happened. Find a grail, you see a grail, you get a grail. When the price is right.
Exactly.
I don't. When you live by the method that you overpay for nothing, it leaves you open to a lot of opportunity. Speaking one's mind is healthy. Yeah, now I have to try that sometime. What is going on, Ryan Riley? Hope you're doing good today. White Tiger, Cool Common Collected, Ruby G, good to see you in here. What is going on? One week ends, another begins. It never stops. At least not. It will one day. The sun's going to blow up one day, right? Wait, what just happened here? Who was Mark spewing about? That was in the other room. Oh, this like a con artist that runs a con in the Southeast, and yeah,
literally a con artist.
Yeah, literally a con artist. Yeah. Because CG likes to drop Jim's name every time he talks about me because he thinks it pisses me off. How could it? Like it's funny. Well, it's funny to me because I know you and Jim both, and I know that both of y'all are completely indifferent kind of thing. Like it's funny when you know it can't bother somebody, and that's how it's supposed to be. Tell them to keep your name out their mouth. NEB, what is going on, homie? It's good to see you in here as well. Brother John, let's ignore that. Yeah, I swear I feel better, and it's awesome. Yeah, it's all good. That's a great thing about YouTube, about content. If you don't want to see it, you ain't got to click on it. Everybody's entitled to do what they want to do. It is what it is, kind of thing. So let's get into it. On the agenda for tonight, we'll be talking Superman and Lois season 4. We had a fantastic episode. I got some questions, I got some comments and some concerns about what I felt was a fantastic Lex Luthor, and I'm questioning that now. We'll be talking Penguin, the penultimate episode from last week, and some of the news from this week, and then we'll hit on a few books that are worth mentioning and hoping that people will give a shot to. So let's see where we're starting. I have all this loaded up in here. We'll go in order. We'll definitely go in order. So we'll start where we end the show as well. We're going with the Penguin. How many episodes is this show? I still forget every time.
I believe it will be 8 by the time it's done. The 8th episode is tonight, I believe.
8th episode is the finale. So the ish hit the fan in episode 7. The synopsis is like this was Sophia getting her revenge, coming back after Oz. Sends her goons after him, catches him, shuts down his operation, big fight and everything, and successfully kidnaps his mom, holding her ransom. And we see Oz kind of go hard to try to get her back and still maintain his empire that he's working on building. Ultimately, it ends with a bang. Sophia sends a vehicle that was supposed to have Oz's mom to meet Oz, and she decided to grow a pair and send a bomb instead. Blew up his entire operation. He barely got out alive just to get kidnapped on his way to go be face-to-face with Sophia. In the process, Boss Maroni ends up having a heart attack and dying in the middle of fist fighting with Oz, which was kind of unfortunate. It was a little slapsticky to me, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I knew as soon as it was over, like, you know what, he's going to shoot him multiple times because he's not going to let him, he does not want the guy to just die of a heart attack.
I beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where would you rank this episode in the series so far? Still hitting that high water mark? Did this one break any barriers for you? Was it what you expected?
It was a couple of things. Obviously, when he died, I knew he was gonna shoot him multiple times. I knew it was gonna be explosives in the back of the car. I knew it was gonna be his mother, because that just would have been too easy to just.
I thought it was going to be both, to be honest with you. I thought she was going to have already been dead plus the explosives kind of thing. I didn't know how hard they wanted to go with this.
Yeah, but I mean. It definitely, I mean, if you're talking about, setting up a finale, it is definitely going to be, okay, you know what? It is going to be Sophia against Oz, one-on-one for all the marbles of, who's going to control Gotham. So it did a really good job of that. And it's basically it's going to be it's just going to be everyone that Oz had gathered with him, except for Vic. What's going to happen is Vic is going to come in with his army that he got sent out to get at the end. And he's probably going to end up rescuing Oz again, and they're going to, take down Sophia. It would be my guess.
Now, the biggest thing of this episode, which I haven't mentioned yet, is we got Oz's backstory. What did you think of getting that?
Yeah, that was crazy to find out that Oz was basically responsible for the death of his two brothers. Basically, what happens is they go and they play. Um, they go to meet a guy on the street to get they hand him kind of like a ledger type of a thing or whatever. He gives them $50 that he's supposed to go back and bring to his mother. They end up walking through the streets and everything. They end up down in the sewers. They start to play hide and seek. They go further down into the sewers when he tries to go down to get them. He can't, basically, because of the problems that he has with his leg. He can't climb down the ladder to get them. So he basically climbs back up, closes the door, so they can't get out now. And as it rains and everything fills up, they basically drown down in the sewers. His two brothers. So we had known that Sophia had mentioned earlier in the season that his two brothers died when he was young. This episode we found out exactly how they died. So it was chilling. It was disturbing. It was definitely something. The only thing I would say it probably was not is knowing who he is now. It probably wasn't all that surprising.
No. And did you catch like the vibes that like when he first took Vic down into these sewers episodes ago, like that this was somehow tied to it, because the clear avoiding talking about his siblings, kind of naturally implicated him in his siblings' unfortunate demise. And then going
Right.
down there talking about how him and his brothers used to play down there. I'm like, this has got to be like a scene of a crime. And
No.
what real balls this character has to make his base of operation to be the place that he killed his siblings. Like he's got, there's that, it's like one of those, like, who cares what someone says, where their feet, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
your actions speak louder than your words. And the fact that he would go set up an entire criminal empire, the scene of where he killed his brother shows like no remorse.
And he hid behind the exact same door to
Yes.
live when the bomb went off that he had closed to kill his siblings.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah.
Wicked good episode. Like the devil's in the details with stuff like this, how well it's structured, because it lets you really question the dynamic of these characters, like their motives, the little details of their personalities. They're really flushed out characters that are really believable. They're not just actors up here delivering lines. These lines that they're delivering, every one of them influences and builds the backstory of these characters and just really has broadened them. Like HBO has crushed it with this series. Cannot wait to see the episode tonight to see how it plays out and what it could potentially do to springboard Gotham into Batman 2, if there'll be any hints at any like other stuff, like little Easter eggs at the end, just to give us little teases. It reminds me back to like the Christopher Nolan stuff, like true Easter eggs, just like how Gordon said at the end of Batman Begins, there's another guy running around calling himself he leaves a calling card, and we just see the card. Keep it simple. Like let the fans know this stuff. Don't like spoon feed it. It's kind of like the gangster that gave the kids the $50 from the comic books. That's Selena Kyle's father.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Matt Reeves universe, we know that Falcone was her father from the film. So there's a little change there, but they thought enough to put that character into the show. You know what I mean? Like, hey, that's pretty cool. Some good stuff in there. But the hits don't stop there when it comes to DC television. We also got episode 5 of Superman and Lois this week. Yo, this show is fantastic. I don't know where to begin. Like it's the most underrated superhero television show that's ever existed.
Yeah,
Hands
I am now more convinced that what I said is going to happen is going to happen.
What did you say that is going to happen? Is it going to happen?
It's going to be basically whatever happened to the Man of Steel. He's going to retire. His two kids are going to take over. The reason why is because, okay, you know what? First he's got a human heart. Yes, it's injected with, his blood or whatever, but he's basically got a human heart, okay, which already caused him some problems. Now he's getting gray hair. Okay.
Salt and pepper. Come on, Paul. Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. Whatever.
We get the age gracefully together now.
Exactly. Whereas his two kids have a half Kryptonian, half human heart. So they're not going to be affected the same way that he is. So I think he's got to retire, and his two kids are going to take over.
Yeah, one of the things that we've been seeing the dynamic of the kids in this show is now that Jonathan is coming to his powers. He's the savant. He's the kid, like he's the athletic one that everything comes easy to him. Jordan is not. He's socially awkward. He's on the spectrum. That they it introduces that concept in season 1, episode 1, and never repeated it again. They just moved on like your audience isn't dumb, like, which I appreciate with these shows. So he's been he sidelined himself, when Jonathan came into his powers. But now with this episode, he sees the need to not isolate himself, and he's stepped up, and they see what's going on with their father. Now, this was a Lex Luthor centric episode, which I think kind of hurt the character in a lot of ways. This has been a very, very scary, very intimidating, physically intimidating, mentally intimidating character. And Lex is known as like a shaker and mover, one of the world's smartest men. Like, if he puts his mind on something, he's going to get it, and it's going to cost people their lives by any means necessary. And he's in Smallville wanting to set up base of operation there because ultimately he wants his revenge against Lois, which is one of the cool things about this show, how it'll take something we've seen 1,000 times, something we know from the most recognizable superhero on the planet, and it'll flip it in a way that's familiar but never been done before, i.e. all the villains through this series. They've introduced us, flipped it, and delivered something new. So with Lex, his nemesis isn't Superman in this season. His nemesis is Lois Lane, who this is kind of like old man Superman. This is the end of Superman's run kind of thing, with his kids being older, with Lex having successfully gotten arrested and brought up on charges, spent 17 years in jail, and he blames Lois, not Superman. So he wants his revenge on Lois. So he's trying to set up base of operations in Smallville so that he can keep harassing her till he finally takes her down, makes her pay for the time that he lost. And in this episode, we see Lex make numerous plays to move his plan forward. And weirdly, he failed at every single thing he tried to do. It starts off with him acknowledging that he couldn't reconnect any kind of, or reestablish a connection with his daughter. So he failed there. He's losing trust with his employees. He failed there. He's trying to get permits to build in Smallville, and they're getting kicked out by the mayor. So he goes to see Mayor Lana Lang, who he tries to say, he just tries to strong arm her with words, and she doesn't back down. So he failed there. He tries just to go buy the land from the property owner, who Lana then takes Clark and goes and talks to the property owner and convinces her not to sell. And Lex has a conversation with her and offers her $10 million and this and that, and couldn't talk her into it. So he failed there.
Like, not only her, but every other person in the bar he offered $10 million to.
Every single thing he set out to do in this episode, which was a lot, he failed. He failed. He sent a hitman to kill Lana, failed. He went
one-on-one with Clark and failed.
Now that's where I was going. It ends with Clark responding to the assassination attempt on Lana. Right. Mad, walking through the streets of Smallville, just screaming for Lex. And Lex grabs a little device off of his table, walks outside, meets Clark in the street. It's nighttime, rain's coming down under the street lights in each other's face. And Clark calls him out, and Lex is like, let's do this. And he pushes the button, all the street lights go to red. And he's like, but with no powers. So you get a fist fight between just Clark Kent and Lex Luthor. And Lois, John, and Jordan show up. She keeps the kids from walking too close, has to not get under the red UV lights. And they ultimately fight to both of them getting the crap beat out of each other. And Lex laughing because Clark's pretty much lost control. This isn't what Clark would do. This isn't how you act when you're the model of how humans should be. And Lex wanted him to act like that in front of his family. And he liked that aspect of it. And then he leaves Smallville, only to find out at the end that he left Smallville to regroup. And his right hand, Amanda, don't know her last name. It's not Waller, though. She comes up to him and it's kind of reassures him of her loyalty to him and his plan, and says, our next step is we need to get you a killer suit. And that's why we have our thumbnail tonight. Right. So it looks like the season's shifting away from Doomsday, who we don't know where he is, where he went, what's he doing, and is heading toward an ultimate battle of Lex and the power suit against the Man and the Boys of Steel.
Yeah, and we get more evidence of how he manipulates people too, because like when he was talking, Amanda was pissed because she didn't know about all of his plans and everything, and he says to her, there were two things when I was in jail that got me through what was going on. One was the thought of my daughter, and the second was the loyalty that you had for me.
I like that same conversation. She's like, I ran this company while you're away. He's like, and you made millions. She goes, and I worked for him trying to keep this company safe for us. And her just saying the word us, you can see like Lex like cringe inside. Like, ew.
Yeah.
He's so about himself that just hearing it made him a little bit uncomfortable. But trying to keep his composure. Now, here's my big issue. If we're moving toward a series finale of Lex in the power suit versus Superman, cool. We've never seen power suit Lex fight Superman in live action. But in this world, we've had Lex's power suit since season 1. John Henry Irons shows up on this Earth in season 1 from a separate Earth. The steel suit, John Henry Irons, his suit is Lex's power suit since season 1, just from a separate Earth. So you know what I mean? It's not, you know what I mean? It's not new.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's gonna have kryptonite in it, and he's gonna, it's definitely gonna be an upgrade it's gonna be Lex's power suit 2.0.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? I was having this conversation with Pops a couple of weeks ago about if Lex pulls up in the power suit. And we were talking at where the show was. I'm like, I'd rather them just pull Metallo out of their back pocket. Like he's in LexCorp. Because where the power suit, just gritting your teeth and moving fast, you can rip it off of him. Metallo, that's him. That's the person. You can't really rip it off of him without risking killing him. It's gonna paint it green. Totally different suit. Totally different now. Not the same one. But reality, like you send John Henry after Lex in a power suit because John Henry's a key player in this show. He's fantastic.
Maybe he'll take him on in the Superman mobile.
Maybe that would
add the
two fists.
Yeah.
You know what else? Another angle with this is really this episode. Everyone knows he's Superman. A couple episodes ago, we had one of Jordan and Jonathan's friends let them know, like, yo, we seen what happened to your dad. People notice because they live in Smallville now. They're not living in Metropolis. There's not 1 million plus people here. So when somebody goes missing, like Clark Kent went missing, presumed dead, where's he at the same time as Superman? And people who spend this much time with Clark, he's an active member of the town. They see him like, yo, like Superman comes to Smallville when y'all come. Like the townsfolk aren't dumb, so they're all on to him. They're not like trying to out him, but everyone when they talk to him is like,
yeah, that was the whole thing.
Everything you did for us.
Yeah, when he talked to the woman who owned the farmland, whatever, she's like, considering everything you've done, he's like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking
about. Yeah, I couldn't give in after you didn't give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he knows. So I think that's what the next episode is going to focus heavily on. We got to have an episode when we're like sideline Lex now so we can work on the suit 2.0, painted green. Totally new thing.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. There's no way, like, there hasn't been a single season that hasn't done a finale on such a grand scale and just like put your jaw on the floor. And this is the finale that they knew starting this season that this is our finale. So I think Lex in a power suit is just going to be a small piece of it. Like, I'm hoping what I want to see.
Doomsday's got to come back.
What I want to see, Superman can't do it himself.
Mm-hmm.
His kids can't do it themselves. John Henry couldn't even slow him down just in a flyby.
Mm-hmm.
We need Superman. We need the Super Sons. We need John Henry. We need Natasha. And we need Lex in the Power Suit 2.0 painted green with kryptonite to all fight side by side, 10 toes down against Doomsday. Because this Doomsday is amped all the way up. That would be awesome if Lex has like a side by side.
Or does Lex take out everyone and then Doomsday takes out Lex? Because he finally started to remember everything that was going on, right? And he flew off. So maybe he realizes that Lex is really the bad guy here and not the people that he's been telling me to, to
who was it? Who was it that was able to appeal to Doomsday? Who is it that Doomsday's probably going to want to protect?
Lois.
And who's Lex trying to kill?
Exactly. So I think it's going to be Doomsday is going to come back and he's going to be the one to take out Lex.
Cool. It's going to be great. I can't wait. Well, I want to wait. I'm enjoying it. Yo, so I watch it on YouTube TV because I hate the CW app. That's like kind of a necessity thing. If you got nothing else, it's free, but it has a bunch of ads. So I watch it on YouTube TV, which it gets DVR'd. And there's an inconsistency with the DVR. This show premieres on Monday nights, right? No, Tuesday nights.
No, Monday nights.
Monday nights this show comes on. So typically it should be available on Tuesday. Episode 5 this past week's wasn't available to me till Friday. So I'm on like opening the app and checking it like 3 times a day. Like, where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? But it eventually got there and it was fantastic.
You don't
Watched it
just
last.
use you have YouTube TV, right? You don't just DVR it on YouTube TV and watch it that way?
I do, but I'm saying like it didn't put
Oh.
it in the library until Friday.
Oh wow,
Now,
I saw mine on
even
Tuesday.
yeah, it's weird. Sometimes that happens. Like when I was watching AEW
Mm-hmm.
every next day kind of thing, because
Mm-hmm.
I'd go to bed because of work. There was a couple of days here and there where it wouldn't show up till on the DVR thing till the day after. Not Thursday morning. It wouldn't be till Friday kind of thing.
Yeah,
Every now and then it has an
that's weird.
inconsistency.
Because I mean, I never had that happen to me. Usually, I can watch it as soon as it finishes. Even I can even start it if I'm like 40 minutes late. I can start it from the beginning and just watch it all the way through from there.
Yeah, so I don't have CW as a channel on YouTube
Oh, that
TV.
could be why. Okay, that must be
Yeah,
why.
because like so the way that some stuff works, like local channels,
Yeah.
you can only watch them via video on demand. There's no live channel option. There's no go to CW and watch it live when it premieres on my YouTube TV.
Augusta needs a CW channel.
Yeah, we have it on regular cable, but I
It's
don't
just
know
not
what
on
to
YouTube.
do.
Well, that's weird.
It's not recognized here in this area, so it's on there. But there's a lot of channels that you can watch video on demand content, but
Yeah.
there's not a live
Wow.
channel feed.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like it. I don't like it. Keeping with the DC TV, y'all know that James Gunn is actively working on Peacemaker Season 2 amongst the post-production of Superman Legacy, aka Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Drop the legacy. But people online are always talking to James Gunn, and he's always talking to them, talking too much sometimes, but we still get information out of it. And this is interesting, talking about Season 2 of Peacemaker. People are kind of fishing to see what they could potentially be about to try to get some villain out of him. But one user, iKryptonian, said that he'd heard the second season would be fantasy-based, exploring characters related to magic and stuff. Is this true? Or will it be sci-fi action-based, just like the first season? James told him he understands why he would hear that, but I still think of it as science fiction, actually more so than season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Who will be the main villain in Peacemaker Season 2? The guy asked. He's like, yo, that'd be a spoiler, bro. And I wanted to point out that this post was attached to a picture of Eclipso, which I doubt they're going to go Eclipso, but Stargirl knocked it out of the park when they did.
Exactly.
And I would ask people, especially the chat, who they think is going to be the villain, the bad guy of Peacemaker Season 2. But knowing how James Gunn is, there's no way you can guess this. I think the only person that could probably come close to guessing it right would actually be Brother John with the cocaine AIDS vampire.
Yeah.
What is going on? Scotty Vaughn is in the chat. What's up, homie? But yeah, I'm excited for it. Hey, Beckerman. Unless spoiler is the answer, which would be
There you
lame.
go. There you go.
Yeah, Peacemaker Season 1 did get out there with the butterflies and all that, and the big alien invasion, but I'm excited to see what he does. I feel like that show has like the most there it is, the most versatile script options. You can get outrageous and it still not feel like you've jumped the shark.
Yeah, and there was, speaking of James Gunn too, was a rumor that came out that Barry Keoghan's Joker was supposedly the next person that was up in line for a TV series that would be between Joker 2 and Joker 3, and James Gunn said, "Yeah, I don't think so."
Yeah, they said it was going to be the next one-off attached to Matt Reeves' universe,
Right.
the epic crime saga. There's been a lot of talks about what comes after the Penguin show. It's and people are, I guess, I don't know if they're fishing. I don't know where this rumor came from, but James Gunn did come out and directly say, this is not anything that's actively happening. I wish he would just let us live in our rumors for a little bit.
Yeah, and it got out to like IGN.com, like Screen Rant, a lot of the ones that usually don't print stuff, just out of nowhere usually.
So do you think this could potentially be one of those, they're not supposed to know yet responses by Gunn?
Could be.
Because he has actively said some of the stuff that he shot down isn't happening. Some of it he shot down is happening, and it does. People don't need to know everything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it would make sense, you would think, depending on what they do in Batman 2. But it's supposedly supposed to, if it happens the way he says, the way the rumor says, it's supposed to be between Batman 2 and Batman 3.
With the new Two-Face ongoing comic, I could see them weaving a Two-Face show And Harvey Dent is a character in Matt Reeves' The Batman 2. I don't know if they're going to take him to the point of Two-Face. That's Christopher Nolan had no problem doing that like smoothly without it feeling like excessive or too much in a movie. Just inserted Two-Face in and it worked out great. Don't know if I'm expecting more of like a Billy D. Williams appearance, like him just speaking at the podium as the DA talking on situations.
Yeah.
We shall see, but no Joker confirmation, which I still want to see more of this Joker. I don't know if I want to see it yet though. I'm brainiac when it comes to the Joker. Still, too much of a good thing can wear you down sometimes. But this was like a creepy, crazy take on the Joker. So what do we got next? DC Comics continues to crush it, Paul. Did you know that?
I've heard that.
Well, it don't stop, can't stop, won't stop. Mark Waid and Chris Samney's brand new Batman and Robin Year One has officially sold out and going to a second print. Now, why does this make this to the show? Well, it's important. That's why comic sales are up for DC. But more importantly, this series was solicited in conversations and interviews and stuff as an attempt at being like a seminal story for Batman and Robin, much like Batman Year One is for Bruce Wayne Batman. When you want to tell a new reader and explain Batman's origin, you don't say, hey, go read Detective Comic. No, you say, go read Frank Miller's Batman Year One. 50 years after the fact, the story like went up the totem pole to the go-to origin story for Batman. And that's what they're swinging for with this Batman and Robin Year One. And it looks like the word might have gotten out enough that it actually picked up and sold. I did read it. I didn't buy a copy, but I read it. It was a good story. I'm not going to lie. It was entertaining. It was well done. The artwork was solid. But the fact it's going to a second printing, maybe it'll get some legs. I'm not saying monetarily, but maybe they got something big planned for it.
Yeah, and they're doing the same thing with this that they're doing with the Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman 2, and they're doing a noir edition as well. So it's just the black and white. So that seems to be another big thing that they're doing. When things sell out, they're coming back with a noir edition.
Yeah, or a cheaper to make edition.
Exactly. Where we don't have to pay the inker or the colorist rather.
Yeah, we don't have to pay for ink, and y'all still pay full price.
Yeah.
Got to do what you got to do. Did you read this book, Paul?
I did.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. For a first issue, I think Mark Waid and Chris Samney, I'm not a big Marvel guy, but I did read a lot of their Daredevil stuff, because it was just well done. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Mark Waid now, because he basically came out after the election and said basically that he doesn't know how he can write superhero comics anymore.
Yeah, I wasn't going to put that in here as to not like split our audience, but let's talk politics. Yeah, Mark Waid made a really weird post. So if you're familiar with Mark Waid without getting into details, he's very, very, very political. He posts some stuff sometimes that nobody should post. Nobody should say, especially after like very violent action that occurred over the summertime in the political arena that should never happen to anybody. He made a public post stating that he wished more damage would have occurred during that violent action day, which is crazy in my mind. Now, I want to give credit where credit's due. Mark Waid is very politically active as Mark Waid. Mm-hmm. In a professional setting, he shows the difference between a talent and a hack. This guy still puts every bit of his heart, love, and soul into these comics to keep the integrity of these characters in these pages and let any of his emotion at the door, and he lets the characters shine through on their own. You'll never, to this day,
seeps into his writing.
It's never seeped into his work. And I think it's important that no matter what your political opinion is, to support people like that. This guy's entitled to his own opinion, no matter how terrible it is or no matter how good it is, and he still should be allowed to work. And that goes for everybody. And the fact that he shows that balance, I think that that's important to support people like that, But his work speaks for itself. And the day that it seeps into his work is the day that me and Paul will be like, oh, man, beating us on the head. Like we call it out when we see it. And he doesn't do it. Yeah, I don't. I wish we had more great comic book writers, but I get what you're saying. I don't hate that he's a great comic writer. I hate that he's so personally invested in the stuff that is beyond his control. He hates me, so I can't support him. I don't think he knows you, Sledge. He doesn't know me. Doesn't know me. I won't give up on people.
I wasn't bringing that up to be political either because I think we can just report, but he just reporting what he had said. It'll be interesting to
Yeah,
see what happens, if anything, based on what he had said.
yeah. But I hope he continues. I hope he
Yeah.
continues. Keeping on with the second Prince, Absolute Superman came out this week. It was an absolute banger, and it also, just like Wonder Woman and just like Batman, it is going back to a second print. Look at this awesome cover right there. That's wicked. That's wicked. Now, I will say that there is a secret Frank Quitely cover floating out there. Bleeding Cool News reported and used half the cover in part of their article. Still haven't been able to find it. If you can find the Frank Quitely cover for Absolute Superman, any information leading to the whereabouts of Frank Quitely's Absolute Superman would be greatly appreciated. The search continues. The dogs are out sniffing their way. They still haven't found it, but second printing for Wonder Woman happened. Third printing for Batman's on the way, and we got a second printing for Superman coming. These books are in the top 3 sellers for comic books. Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman are dominating the market. The DC Trinity is holding the top spot, and there's more big releases coming from DC before the end of the year, so hopefully they can keep this momentum going. I legitimately hope so. Boom. Circling right back around to the Penguin. Variety predicts the following Golden Globe 2025 nominations for the Penguin: Best TV Series, Best Actor, and Best Actress. We've been talking about it since the first episode of the Penguin, impressed by the performances there, that this is going to win some awards, and it starts with the Golden Globes and moves on to the Emmys from there, if I'm not mistaken. Grammys, Emmys, Oscars, Emmys.
Yeah, usually the Golden Globes they occur in January.
Yeah.
And then the Emmys are usually September.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this thing start raking them in. But they're predicting the three big ones right there. Those are the top 3 awards, best actor, actress, and overall show. I think it could be on par to win some more though for some of the technical stuff with the show as well.
Oh,
do they do technical subcategories?
They do makeup and things like that. I mean, come on.
What could be that?
Right.
Yeah, some really cool stuff there. Some really, really cool stuff.
Best cinematography. I mean, those are probably movies, but I mean that whole thing when the explosion went off underground and you saw it from underneath. It's like the whole.
Yeah, the visual effects were awesome. Forget Absolute Superman. The Herculoids are coming from Dynamite. Yeah, I shared with Pops the Mike Mignola cover that he was working on. Yeah. Absolute banger for people like us who enjoyed Absolute Superman. Some have already claimed it in the so-called woke category because of what and who was revealed. I missed all of that. An Absolute Superman? Brainiac. It's because of Brainiac.
Yeah.
Keeps his brain on the outside.
He's trying to save all those cities.
Yeah. Kill me. Kill me now. Oh, man. The poor people in the bottled cities. Oh, my God. Savage. But yeah, I'm excited for award season this year. There's going to be some cool stuff to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
And all the news this week hasn't been good news. We did lose a celebrity that it seems most people pretty much enjoyed. The passing of Tony Todd at 69 years old. I don't know what the cause of death was, but that seemed pretty young for it to not have been something that was potentially reported that I just didn't look into or read. I don't know if he was sick or anything or was in an accident, but Tony Todd was the Candyman. He was in The Crow, Wishmaster, countless things, and he was also a big player for the DC universe. He played in Smallville. He did the voice of Zoom and Flash, as well as the voice of Darkseid. So Tony Todd's definitely going to be missed. He had one of the most iconic voices out there. He's also in all the Final Destination movies. He was the common thread, the Mortician. So that's kind of a bummer. What up, nerds? Just hopping on for a couple minutes and going to finish episode 3, Superman. What season are you in, Jeremy? I'm excited.
Yeah, he was binging it last week, if I remember.
Hopefully he's caught up real soon. Hopefully he gets caught up before the finale. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Wait, so we're 39 minutes in. You want to switch gears over to some comic talk?
Sure.
I already told Paul, I'm so far behind on comics. So far. Batman came out this week. Haven't read it yet. Green Arrow hasn't. I've got a lot of catching up to do. What's up, big guy? What?
Hello.
Hey, Finn.
Thank you. What? Is there a question involved?
No.
What's the question?
I love you.
Oh, I love you too. I didn't know that was a Man, did y'all know that was in question?
I guess if you say, I love you.
I love you. Raise your voice at the end. So I was looking at. I've only read 3 books this week. Oh, he's on the new season. There we go.
There you go.
Lois being a soldier, many are claiming, "Woke crowd, one little change of people having to try to make something." I didn't see anybody say that's.
Yeah.
I ain't got around too much. Yeah, I got a lot of reading to do. Pop seen the stack I picked up today.
Wait, can I watch it on your phone?
No. So I did pick up Absolute Superman. Got the cover A by Rafa Sandoval, the Clayton Crane cover, the foil logo cover, the Jim Lee foil, the regular Jim Lee. They were misprinted. They were speckled to death. So I have to pick up a different one. I did get the 1 in 50 Virgin Clayton
Crane Virgin. Yep.
I picked up JSA #1. You know, we're back to JSA. We go from Justice Society of America to JSA and back and back and back and back. That's the history of this book for the last 30 years. And then I picked up the Green Arrow Annual, which is the last issue from Joshua Williamson that Paul informed me of last week.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Batman All In. So this is issue number 154. Action Comics. And then
that's not the current issue. That's not the current issue.
Well, then the current issue is right here. Then I got a lot of Action Comics sitting here. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, you should ask Mommy. Oh, no. Hyde Street second print, and I got Nemesis.
I'm watching.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting bombarded. I got the new Nemesis, which is in the bedroom. Finn, will you go under my tablet and get the comic that's under my tablet?
What tablet?
The only tablet that I have, my tablet. Here, baby. You need help putting it on there?
Yes, can you hold it shut?
I'm going to hold that shut. Paul, did you read Green Arrow?
I did.
Fill me in, man. Fill me in. I'm curious to know. I don't want to wait to read it. You want all of them shut?
It basically is a story about, it's set in the future with lots of flashbacks. It's set with Green Arrow with Oliver on the island with what appears to be all of his grandkids. And he talks about this one villain that he has fought multiple times, Firestarter, who he could not capture. They always seem to get away. And so we go through the different stages. Like one time he's fighting him, he's wearing his original costume. The next time he's fighting him, he's wearing his longbow hunter's costume. You know, the last time he's fighting him, he's wearing his most recent costume. And you know, he's never able to determine exactly who he is, and he's constantly getting away. He thinks that it may be, you know, one of 3 different people, and he basically finds out at the very end of the issue, after talking with them, that in fact it is actually all three of the people are Firestarter, and he ends up teaming up with all of his grandkids to go and take him down. And then they just that's kind of it. It was more of kind of, hey, this is a great way for me to wrap up the whole life of Oliver Queen, as opposed to, you know, do anything kind of new. And
so it didn't really influence or speak to the run itself?
Not at all. No.
Did it give us anything springboarding us into the next issue?
No.
Creative team wise, are we starting with an issue number 1 from here? Or are we going to continue the numbering?
Continue the numbering. And in fact, it was the backup story was the prelude to it in the last issue. So
yeah, that's what I was wondering. That's kind of unfortunate timing. This should have come out before All In, and they should have started All In. This is just bad timing, is all.
Mm-hmm.
They should have, that last issue, they shouldn't have even done this annual, really. They should have just, I guess it's good timing if you wouldn't have done the annual, because otherwise you would have started a new run in the last issue with the prelude.
Yeah, and obviously this, I think it probably was intended to come out because this was an odd week for an annual to come out. Annuals normally come out on week 5 of a month, you know. I'm sure that it was something that was probably supposed to come out before.
Yeah. What is going on, Bearded? Looking forward to JSA. Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
Excited for the new Green Arrow arc. Man, I'm so excited for the DC books. They don't last a few days. I go through them. Full disclosure, Jeremy goes to job site, sits in his truck, and reads while all the workers work in the hot sun or in the rain. That's actually how Jeremy gets through his pool list. Next issue should pick up the story. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, Finn being 7-year-old now. He's a grown man. Need him to get a job.
There you go.
Need him to get a job. So one that I did read right off the bat, Nemesis Rogues Gallery, Mark Wade. This is issue number 4. The whole premise of this series, we saw Nemesis last at the end of Big Game where he got wrecked ultimately. So you're seeing, see what I'm talking about? I only knew that because he told me that. But Nemesis was recouping in a hospital. He gets out. He gets back to the fraternity that trained him, and he kind of heals and goes through the crazy ritual healing stuff. Then he decides like he needs to make a comeback, and he wants to get a protege, get a sidekick. So he gets a sidekick, and we kind of skip through a lot of the time of training the sidekick and get to a quick era where it's a formidable sidekick kind of thing. Meanwhile, relatives of survivors, because Nemesis is a devious SOB. Like his victims don't go out clean kind of thing. So like the husbands, the fathers, the grandparents have banded together and they're coming after him. And they came after him in the last issue. In this issue, he faces them one-on-one, barely getting away and realizing who's orchestrating it. And it looks like this isn't his first sidekick. So we see who's leading all of these teched out survivors in this tirade against Nemesis, and it was his first sidekick. And we get the story of how he brought this sidekick in, trained him. It felt like a father he never had, a brother he always wished he had, ultimately just to be used by Nemesis and left out to dry as a decoy. So he wants his revenge against Nemesis, and he's utilizing all these other people with a bone to pick with him. It's action-packed, it's fast-paced, it's dynamic, shocking stuff. It's really good. Standard Mark Miller stuff. Loving every minute of it. Couldn't recommend it enough. I hope people jump on and pick up some of his stuff. He's putting out a lot right now, really getting out there at Dark Horse. He's got like 4 or 5 titles going. So there's some good stuff to pick up from the Miller world right now.
Nice.
I get paid for my enormous smart brain. Where do you keep it? You've never shown that. You need to put it on a post. Nemesis is fire. What else you got, Paul?
Did you want to do JSA?
Maybe.
Okay.
JSA number 1, brand new creative team. We are in the all-in era, and the creative team is none other than Jeff Lemire and Diego, somebody with a last name that Paul will pronounce.
Diego O.
Diego O. There's more letters to it, but out of respect for the artist, we're not going to attempt it. But check it out. Check it out. So this kind of picks up where we left off in no way whatsoever. So completely fresh jump on point. It doesn't in any way neglect what came before it. It's just jumping from a point where anyone can jump in. As a reminder, all these all-in books, and whenever you see that all-in, you can assume this is starting 52 weeks after the finale of Absolute Power, giving the creative team all the freedom in the world to start a fresh story from wherever they want. You do have continuity that you have to make sure you respect, but you're not burdened by the previous creative team's story arc. In this one, it kind of starts off with not the JSA, but the Infinity Inc., which is like the next generation of heroes that are kind of legacy lineage of the JSA. They really came into being in the 1980s in a Roy Thomas run that's like legendary at this point. So you got Jade and Obsidian, which are the kids of Alan Scott. You have Yolanda, Wildcat,
Rick Tyler.
Rick Tyler, the second hour man.
Right. And the reason we get them is because the JSA is missing.
Yeah, that's what I was getting with this. So you have these characters chasing down bad guys, and there's already a team divided. You have a group of them that are out trying to do something, going a little too hard in the paint. Obsidian, slick about to torture a guy for information. And then you get Jade, who's leading the team, kind of rope them in, get them back to the brownstone, and have a meeting about the team dynamic. And it gets revealed that they need to get it together, and they're on edge and all this and kind of fractured because the JSA is missing, and they're trying to figure out where they went. And we don't get very many answers other than at the end, we were shown the JSA are trapped in the Tower of Fate against their will. You have Khalid, Dr. Fate, trying to magic his way to find an answer. Jay running around trying to see if he can find a way out. And Alan Scott sitting there trying to protect him of anything coming. Meanwhile, Hawkman and Hawkgirl are outside trying to fight off an entire 1,000 horde army that's coming in. So there's a lot going on, and we don't know at the time who set this up. And then we get the kicker. the kicker at the end of the issue when Obsidian's walking through the halls and he kind of goes through a portal out the other side, revealing to be a member of the Injustice Society, and the entire ISA is there plotting, scheming. They're responsible for the disappearance of the JSA, and they're working on Infinity Inc. next.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we get the we also throughout the story we get the relationship things that go on as well. We find out that Jade. We find out that Jade and Sandman had something that was going on. We find out that Rick Tyler and Jesse Quick had something that was going on.
Active was going on is
exactly
Rocky.
Yeah, so that I'm sure will be some sort of that'll cause tension at some point throughout the story. I'm sure. So, but yeah, the first couple pages actually are kind of if you don't know the Justice Society, the first couple pages actually do a kind of a good story of kind of explaining the history and what's going on with them and how we got to where we are today in a lot of ways. So, but yeah, with the reveal of the Injustice Society at the very end, it is great.
And the artwork was fantastic. It fit the story very well. It reminded me a lot of the artwork that we got in the Jay Garrick Flash miniseries that Jeremy Adams did, which was fantastic. If you haven't read it, you definitely need to go back and check that out as well. So, what do you have next? Because I'm on blow mode, my guy. Fill me in.
Basically, I mean, it's at the end of the last issue, we find out that sorry, that's Tom Taylor's story. This one is
Riddler.
This one is Mayor Nakano was killed at the end of the last issue. And so this Mayor Nakano.
Oh, Mayor Nakano, yeah.
Yes. Was killed at the end of the last issue.
Well, you said Manaconda. I'm like, is that a half man, half anaconda?
Manimal. Remember that show? Manimal? So that continues this story. They go through trying to figure out exactly, who may have done it. Was it Savage? Because supposedly Mayor Nakano was going to fire him, the next week. So there's some tension still between Bullock and Gordon and Batman. Batman gets like 15 minutes with Mayor Nakano's body, so to look over things. We basically find out that there are some text messages that have gone between Mayor Nakano's wife and another person, indicating that there was an affair that was going on. We found out at the very end of the issue that it appears as though this affair was with Jim Gordon, and that is, and so Jim Gordon is, he basically is pleading, say, I didn't mean to do it type of a thing. So we'll see where that goes with that. Yeah, that's where Chip Zdarsky goes with this one.
Mayor Nakano's banging Jim Gordon?
No, Mayor Nakano's wife.
Oh, wife, okay. Yeah, that tracks. Jim, you old dog, you.
Yeah.
That was about to be wild. I'll say, what a plot twist.
Yeah.
Did we get to see another appearance of our new vigilante that's on the streets in Gotham?
Yes, we did.
What's this guy's name?
Commander Star.
Commander Star.
Yep.
Yeah.
Appears again.
He's pretty cool. I like his very 90s style get up and everything. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, this is not Jorge Jimenez. If you're a big fan of Jorge Jimenez's art, this is not Jorge Jimenez. This is Carmine Di Giandomenico. The reason being is because originally this was supposed to come out bi-weekly, but they actually moved it back to monthly so that they could then extend the Hush sequel.
Well, Chip was ready to bail, and they're like, "Yo, we'll switch it to monthly if you can stay till this point, so it can just lead into Jeff Loeb's run." From what I understand.
Well, no, he originally that was they wanted to do. He agreed to stay for one more story arc, but it was supposed to come out bi-weekly, which he had written, and that's why the art is switching back and forth. But then they changed it from bi-weekly to monthly to give Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb more time. So.
Yeah, it ain't Adrian Chase. No, show ain't. Show ain't. Unless it is. We don't know. What if it is?
Who knows? Who knows?
So the last one I have is Absolute Superman. Me and Paul do an absolute deep dive on it. tomorrow at 10 a.m. on his channel. It was great. The absolute universe is rocking and rolling. There were so many cool little deviations from the structure of Krypton to this Superman not having a Kent family growing up with. It is a Superman, protecting the people who need protecting. You get some great action in it. Rafa Sandoval's artwork is fantastic. We mentioned it earlier that Brainiac is in there for a panel, and you get to see the bottled cities around him and people just crying out just to put him out of their misery and all kinds of stuff. It's wild. This side, this side, this side, this side, this side.
Yeah,
This
and
side.
it's funny because I mean one of the things that we talk about, and you mentioned it a while back, was that um, it is probably the one that deviates most from the original story. But all three of them, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, although they've deviated, in some ways, in pretty significant ways, they all still seemed, at least at this point, again, we're only one issue in, but to me, they all still seem to represent what the essence of the character wasn't, what the essence of the character is. So,
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm excited for more.
yep.
You got anything else tonight? We're about to hit an hour. It's Penguin finale night.
Yeah. No. Nope.
There's definitely a lot more books to talk. We still are behind on Batman Long Halloween. I'm behind on a lot of stuff right now. I said at the beginning of the show, we're working on getting caught up and back to normal. Not there yet.
Because you only read 3 books.
But I'm fixing it.
See?
Yeah.
Ben pays attention to what you say.
I told you.
I know. Yeah.
I said earlier in the video.
I did. What is going on, Comics Addict? Yeah, the new Superman suit is awesome with the energy. We didn't see his cape flying. It's in there somewhere. Watching him like in his little hut, like hooked up with a solar panel outside and hooked up the wires, charging him, his suit talking to him. Like there's some cool stuff in there. Cool stuff in there for sure. I think he will fly off with Lois at the very start of the next book and just take her up into the air. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he might not be worried about it. Might be going in to get information or something. Who knows? We'll definitely see. But we're gonna leave it with this. Be sure to check out Sector's channel tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the deep dive. I got some more absolute content dropping on the channel tomorrow, available now for channel members.
How do you say stuff so fast?
I don't know, dude. The trick is to not think when you talk. Just let your mouth do the work.
Yeah.
I just read the Absolute Superman and Wonder Woman, and to be honest, I like the Wonder Woman and the Batman one is way better. Absolute Wonder Woman was like nonstop action. Yo, I ranked the Absolute titles and go into my reasons in tomorrow's video. Spoiler alert: Wonder Woman's number 1.
Yeah, we did the same thing. We ranked Wonder Woman story number 1, but we liked I liked the art in Superman the best.
Yeah, I go through all the details kind of thing on what puts it there. Like out of the 3 of them, I was most excited for Superman, least excited for Wonder Woman. But Wonder Woman, just watch the video tomorrow. It gets in the details and feedback on that video. That's a good video for some discussion in the comments. Well, she did handcuff him to her. It's her funeral. Yeah. I was leaving with this. I got this in here. It's a letter from Matt Reeves to the fans, thanking the fans and all that good stuff for the finale of Penguin.
Might need to make it bigger with your phone.
What is the question? Oh, look at that. What do you know? Thank you so much to all the incredible fans who have been watching The Penguin. Getting to follow Oz through Gotham's back alleys with you on HBO has been a dream come true. And thank you to the astonishing Colin Farrell and Christina Milioti and our entire cast who brought these characters so beautifully to life, and to our wonderful writers, directors, and crews, and to our amazing showrunner, Lauren LaFrance. It has been a privilege. We are excited to share tonight's finale with you, and we look forward to bringing you the next chapter of our epic crime saga in the Batman Part 2. With gratitude, Matt Reeves. Hope everybody has a fantastic night. Enjoy the show, and remember to be back here next week.
Do you want to mention Legion Loot or no?
That's a good idea. Be back here next week, and we'll be talking the finale of that. Legion Loot is from last month, got hijacked by the hurricane, wrapping it into this month. So there'll just be a double-sized Legion Loot, which will draw for the winner of the first Sunday in December. Sound good, Finn?
Yeah, but how do you spell who is actually there's 3 letters in it?
And what?
Who?
H is in there. There's an O in there and a W.
Mm-hmm.
W-H-O. Who?
But the O is silent.
Who? And it's the ooh part. See your mouth. Ooh.
The W is silent, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's,
Well, that's going to do it for tonight. I appreciate everybody coming, hanging out, and kicking it with us for a little bit. Go watch The Penguin. If you don't have HBO Max, now's the time to get you a month subscription to it and just knock out the whole show. Enjoy it. And until next time, as always, we
Our Legion.
That's it.